joining Iran, Sudan, and Syria on that list. Joining me now, Fred Fleitz, former CIA analyst currently with the Center for Security Policy, and Bruce Klingner, Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow and a former CIA Deputy Division Chief for Korea. Fred, it's been a while. Let me start with you. It's interesting because President Trump today said it was what took so long, right? I mean, North Korea would seem to be a no-brainer, yet they've been off this list since George Bush took them off.
Charles, it's good to be here. You know, it's really not what took so long. It's not a surprise the Obama administration, which did not have a serious North Korea policy, didn't put them back on the list. The question is, why did the Bush administration in October 2008 take them off? And the reason is the Bush administration was engaged in a policy of appeasement. They were desperate to get a nuclear agreement with North Korea, and once they got it, the North Koreans walked away from it and actually announced it had produced 68 pounds of plutonium, enough for 4 or 5 nuclear weapons. I think the president is determined to be tough with North Korea, and he's not going to support a policy of appeasement.
Bruce, President Trump has been clear on that point, and we know the history of North Korea taking money from the West, signing into deals that they never planned to honor anyway, and obviously we want to avoid that trap. So what does this move give us? What additional leverage does this move give us?
Well, it's a long overdue development. It's something that North Korea has been really fulfilling the legal requirements for putting them back on the terrorism list for a number of years. So it is welcome if belated development. It may not add a lot of real additional sanctions authority. The U.S. has lots of executive orders and laws, in many cases not fully enforced. But what it'll do is also add to the moral suasion of the last couple of years. There's been a greater international consensus on the need to punish North Korea and pressure it. So it'll be part of an overall effort to try to persuade even legitimate business partners from engaging with North Korea. Businesses and banks, they don't want to be linked to a regime that not only is committing crimes against humanity, but now is being formally designated as a sponsor of terror.
You know, today Rex Tillerson took great pains to say that the people of North Korea are going to suffer mightily, that they've suffered in the past, and he really seemed like he was trying to warn the world that it was going to be an ugly scene. Fred, are we talking about mass starvation like we've seen in the past?
I think that's the tragedy of dealing with rogue states like this, that the elite put the pain on the people. But look, we have to pursue every possible peaceful avenue before we consider a military action against North Korea. And unfortunately, that's going to put a lot of pain on the people. But we know the sanctions are starting to bite. I think they're starting to affect the regime. And with China's help, we'll see.
Bruce, I've got 10 seconds left. Do you make anything of the fact that it's been over 60 days since there's been any sort of provocative action from North Korea?
Well, we know that North Korea does a lot less missile launches during the fourth quarter of the year, usually about 5 per quarter as compared to